Hello and welcome to another conversation about games. My name is Mark and with me is Rob.
Hello.
Now, once again, if you've been with us for Keyframe, you'll know that there is such a thing as Gundam Hell. And we're going to delve right back into Gundam Hell with
Mark,
Gundam Versus.
Mark, you promised you were never gonna go back to that stuff. You promised, man. You were in rehab and everything. You were clean.
I just can't say no. It's Gundam. I've got to have everything with Gundam, including all of the little toys on the shelf.
As you probably noticed, Mark has a slight Gundam addiction.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying...
Just a little bit.
enjoying the various Gundam series put out to us the past few years. And when I saw Gundam Versus, I was like, yes, I would like to play that game. Taking cues from many, many Gundam series, too many to count, we have a Gundam fighting game on the PlayStation 4.
Okay.
And this has you piloting one of the many hundreds of Gundams over the course of the series, including all of the little obscure ones you thought you forgot, but you didn't.
So, when you say it's a fighting game, you mean it's a 1v1 fighting game?
Yes and no, because technically it is a 1 versus 1 fighting game, but it's also a 2 versus 2 or 2 versus multiple fighting games, because you do select your own Mobile Suit Gundam to play as, but you also select one to kind of back you up. And
okay.
The majority of the game, it does feel like a 1 versus 1 battle.
Okay.
However, the other Gundams, like the ones on your side and the others on their side, will kind of get in the way from time to time. Obviously, if it's a 1 versus many or 2 versus many, you'll be trying to fight multiple Gundams at the same time.
Okay, so who develops this game?
Yeah, we've got Bandai Namco who's doing it.
Okay.
And it's licensed by Sunrise.
Well, it's always licensed by Sunrise. The reason why I'm asking is because it wasn't that long ago that you had a Gundam game from Koei Tecmo.
Gundam Muso. I think there was another one as well. Was it Revenge of Gundam Muso or something weird like that?
You had other games. They weren't Muso games. They were basically Gundam games. But I can't remember exactly what they were called.
Neither can I off the top of my head, but there is a lot of Gundam games. It's one of those franchises that's been around for forever. As long as anime has been around, more or less, Gundam has been shooting other Gundams.
Yeah.
And it does have a rich history, and that does show in this game. If I wanted to compare it to something in terms of fan service, I want to compare it to something like Super Smash Bros., in which this is a huge love letter to Gundam fans. You are going to get Gundams from most of the main series. There is a few series that's missed out, such as the Gundam Build Fighters, which is, I feel it was a little bit of a missed shot with that, because this is basically Gundam Build Fighters, the game.
Okay.
So you have a lot of Gundam, you have a lot of the characters. I would say there's probably about 70 Gundam, and there's probably 100 characters who can pilot each Gundam, because as we see in the series, a particular Gundam doesn't necessarily have one particular character, and multiple characters could be piloting the same Gundam.
A Gundam is for life, no matter how short it is during war.
And this game does kind of dazzle you with, like, its kind of fan service. I mean, I haven't seen every single Gundam series, but there was a lot of stuff in here that I was like, yes, I recognize that, I know that, I remember that character.
Okay.
He was in for like 2 episodes.
So, when you're talking about fan service, you're talking about the actual robots and cast of characters.
Yeah, I don't mean there's no Gundams like with short skirts and panty shot Gundams or anything like that. This is like kind of like this is a game for Gundam fans.
Yeah,
quite literally. And like I said, it is a fighting game. Now, my first gripe with this game was it kind of throws you in at the deep end. There is a tutorial, but the tutorial just tells you what you can do. It tells you that you can attack with square, you can use another attack with triangle. It tells you this. It doesn't kind of teach you how to play the game. It kind of tells you what you can do, then just goes, right, there you go, play the game.
Yeah.
And I know that is kind of the case with a lot of fighting games. They kind of just be like, yes, press the punch button to punch your character.
Sorry, press punch to punch. It's just...
Press punch to punch.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just like, well, which button's the punch button? And this is one of the things, it's kind of one of those games where it is very difficult to pick up. And you have to sink a lot of hours into this game just to get good.
Talking about it being very difficult to pick up, are you talking about just in terms of the controls, or are you talking about in terms of actually fighting other characters, other players?
I would say both. The controls, you can press the buttons and you can kind of work it out. There's some weird controls, like you've got to press down then up just to block, and I'm kind of thinking, why is there not just a block button? For like special attacks, you've got to work out a little bit of combination of buttons as well. Fighting other characters of a Gundam is, again, it's quite awkward because this is a fighting game. However, it is on a 3D map. Obviously, you're in space, you're on a meteor, you're on an asteroid, you're on Earth, you're in a city, or you're on like a valley, and it is a 3D area. But most Gundam can fly, so it's kind of not straight in front of you. It's kind of, you've got to be flying around to fight each other. If you've ever played a Dragon Ball Z 3D fighting game, then you've probably got a bit of an idea.
See, the way you're describing it doesn't remind me so much of Dragon Ball Z. It reminds me a bit of, say, Armored Core or Zone of the Enders, or even that old game from I think it was the PS1, called Psychic Force.
Yeah, it is quite similar to them. It is essentially an arcade game in the way it handles. I just found it very difficult. Like, the easy modes, they're easy. But once you kind of start getting into the harder difficulties, I was finding it very difficult to even land a hit on the enemy.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt it was one of those games where you either have to get good or get out. And if you're not good, or you don't want to sink God knows how many hours getting good, you're gonna find that the wall in this game appears very quickly, because I first played this and I was like, yeah, this is Gundam, I love Gundam, I'm gonna play as the Mobile Suit Gundam and I'm gonna fight the Zeta Gundam. And once I kind of got over that, once I played a few of the Gundam, and they largely play the same.
Yeah.
Obviously they've got their attacks from the relative series. Once I kind of got over that, and once I'd done a few of the easy modes, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm quite struggling with this. That's it for me. I'd say I can either sit and play this for hours on end trying to get good, or I can sit and play something else. Now, I am not a PS Plus subscriber. I did use the free trial that they give you with the game, which was for 2 days, to try and play some online, because I felt that there wasn't much in the single-player campaign. You have your usual fighting games. You've got fight this character and then go on to the next one, like a tournament-style thing. You have a mode where you've got to fight multiple Gundam at once, and like a survival-type one. There's a boss rush. And that's kind of it for single-player. The real meat is kind of in the online multiplayer, I feel, in this game.
See, the way you're saying it makes me think that you didn't really enjoy it.
I enjoyed it for the fan service part of it. I enjoyed it for being a Gundam game, but I think once it worn off, I was wanting more. I think if there was more modes for the single player, I think I would have enjoyed it. The online player, because this is a niche title, I found it very difficult to find anybody locally to play it.
Okay.
Like in the UK, I had to select it to global, and more or less straight away I came against some guy in Japan who's obviously had the game since it launched in Japan, and just like I basically was just a punching bag for him. The online service wasn't particularly great. There is a way I can redeem this.
Yeah.
I can play this with my friends.
Yeah.
There is no local multiplayer on this game.
Okay, that sounds a bit stupid because you'd think with a game like Gundam, especially with it being player versus player, that's kind of an essential, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the only other game I've played recently which is similar to this is ARMS, which we discussed on an earlier Press X.
Yeah.
And I was really relating this to ARMS, and I was like, well, ARMS I can just sit and play on a free online service, or I can play it with my friends. This, I can play the single player, which is more or less the same mods as ARMS, only with Gundam. Except if I want to play online, I've got to shell out some money. If I want to play with my friends online, I've got to shell out some money. And I can't even invite a friend over just to play it. And maybe this is just me being behind the times, but I feel that that was something that was really missing from this game. This is a fighting game. I expect local multiplayer for a fighting game.
Well, like I said, it's kind of an essential thing. I can't honestly think of any fighting game where they didn't have local multiplayer.
No, imagine if you bought the new Street Fighter game and it didn't have local multiplayer.
Yeah.
The only way you could play it was online. It's like,
people would turn those discs into anything that was weaponized.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of content in this game. If you're willing to sit and play through the same mods over and over again, there's a lot of stuff to unlock. There's a lot of extra characters. But that's all kind of just pretty stuff. The unlockable stuff isn't meaty enough that I want to sit down and play it for hundreds of hours just to unlock it. All of the Gundam you've got, except for the DLC ones, because obviously DLC.
Yep.
It just felt there was nothing meaty to sit down and unlock, and because of that, I felt that I'd seen everything that this game had to offer in about 5 hours.
So I've got to ask, when you're doing the fighting, okay, is it like a massive stage that you can fight in, and you just happen to be fighting only in a small bit, or are they the walls keeping you in the stage?
It is. They are quite large stages. They're not huge stages that you can't find the opponent because that would just be overkill.
Yeah.
But they're not too small that you kind of feel trapped. They don't feel like, where some fighting games kind of have like you kind of look at the stage and you're kind of like, well, this could be a 2D fighter game, really. It's just there's a little bit around it. This feels like it's big enough that you can explore a little bit in it, but it's not big enough that you can't just hide from the opponent and wait for the timer to count down.
Yeah, this is true.
It's big enough, but it's not too big and it's not too small. It's kind of the right size.
Yeah. Out of the Gundam games, which one do you think is the best one? Out of the modern Gundam games?
I've played 2 Gundam games. Okay. I've played this and I've played one of the PS3 Muso games. I personally enjoyed the Muso games a little bit more. The Muso games had a story mode.
Yeah.
They had story modes for each of the franchises they were from. So you got to learn who Amuro and Shah and all of them characters were. These just feel like this is just a fighting game only with different Gundam and different characters which don't really make a difference to the game.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're a huge Gundam fan and you really enjoy fighting games, you will get a lot out of this. Yeah, so if you agree with this, if you disagree, leave a comment. Feel free to like it. Feel free to subscribe. We've got a lot of other fun conversations about games, including Danganronpa and Stardew Valley. If you look in this corner, we have a conversation right here. If you look in this other corner, or if you look around here, we have an interview with one of the chaps we met at Eurogamer about one of their upcoming games.
Fantastic. Right, so that's your lot then. I've been Rob.
And I've been Mark.
We'll see you all later.
Goodbye.